So lately I've been rewatching a ton of Drake and Josh, which if you don't know, is a Nickelodeon sitcom that ran from 2004 till 2007, and it follows the life of two teenage boys named Drake and Josh, who are polar opposites, but then they become stepbrothers and move in together and have to learn how to get along. Now, as hard as it is for two people who are polar opposites to get along, it's a million times harder when they have a force that's constantly messing with them. And this force is none other than Drake and Josh's little sister, Megan Parker. Now, I've mentioned that I've watched the show before, and back then I never gave Megan much thought, but after rewatching this show and giving my brain a little refreshment, Megan is now my favorite character in this entire show. First of all, Megan was the youngest character on this show, but she consistently outsmarted everyone who was older than her, especially Drake and Josh. She always played pranks on them and screwed with their minds. And I will admit there are some times where the things she says and does are a bit unnecessary, or she goes a little bit overboard, but most of the time it's well deserved. Like that time when it was raining and Drake and Josh were supposed to walk Megan home from her friend's house with an umbrella, but they forgot, so Megan had to walk home alone in the rain. And she was mad, and I would have been too. But then Megan got her revenge or whatever by messing with the boys throughout the rest of the episode. Also, there was that time where Drake and Josh turned their house into a bed and breakfast while their parents were away, and Megan knew it was wrong and she wanted to call her parents, but Drake and Josh wouldn't let her. So Megan, being the smart little girl that she is, says, "Fine, if you want to turn our house into a bed and breakfast, then I want to be treated like a guest. Make my bed, cook me food, and do whatever it is people do at a bed and breakfast." There was also that time where Drake and Josh were competing against Megan in a chili cook-off. Then she implanted the idea in their heads that she was going to use Peruvian puff peppers in her chili to make it win. Then Drake and Josh stole the peppers and used it in their chili, but got disqualified because it was illegal all along. Drake and Josh did not do their research, but Megan did. That's a genius mind at work. Also, there was an episode where Megan came up with the idea of a bucket that holds your popcorn and your drink and your candy all in one when you go to the movies. However, Josh kept shooting down her idea, but Megan still went ahead and built a prototype anyways, as she should because it was a great idea. She should have pitched that to the people over at Shark Tank, have Mark Cuban invest in her little bucket business. Now, I don't 100% remember how that episode ended, but I hope someone thought Megan's idea was good because it was Megan. It was a good idea. Also, a few days ago, I watched the movie where Drake and Josh accidentally send Megan on a plane to Los Angeles. And Drake and Josh were worried about Megan, as they should be. But Megan was out here thriving, you guys. She got a limo out front to take her from LAX to the fabulous Chambrulé Hotel, where she stayed in the presidential suite. She even had a mini fridge that was stocked with some goodies. She could go to the hotel's pool whenever she wanted. She had a flat screen TV and a radio. By the way, who else finds it hilarious when you go back and watch old shows and movies and they're all like raving about the newest technology that they have? Meanwhile, you're watching 15 years later and that stuff looks prehistoric. Anyways, throughout the whole movie, I was asking, who is paying for all this stuff for Megan? Is Megan paying for this with the emergency credit card her family gave her? Or did the people at the airport just hook her up really good? My question still has never been answered. Also, when the boys got kidnapped by those criminals, Megan tracked them down and used her quick thinking to save the day. Then she said she was gonna go visit her friend in Denver, and Josh asked her if she needed help, but Megan was like, "Yeah, like I need your help." See, Megan knew she could thrive all by herself because she's proven it time and time again. Also, I want to talk about the other characters in the show for a little bit, but I don't have enough to say about each character to give them all their own separate video, so I'm just going to do a quick lightning round talking about all of them. Okay, here we go. Drake is extremely misogynistic. Josh gets tortured both physically and emotionally more than anyone else in this show, and more than anybody else in any Dan Snyder show. Freddie Benson is a close second though. Mindy had the best character development. Helen could be problematic, but I don't really care because I still think she's funny. And Drake and Josh's parents were MIA most of the time. Now for the seasons ranked. So Drake and Josh has 4 seasons, and I think each season of this show is better than the one that came before. So season 4 is the best and season 1 is the worst. However, the last 2 seasons are tremendously better than the first 2 seasons, which I thought was odd because that usually doesn't happen with these types of shows. It's almost always seasons 2 and 3 that are the best seasons, and sometimes it's just the first 2 seasons. So yay, way to be different, Drake and Josh. Also, I find it funny how the theme song is a clip opening, so it shows clips from the episodes in the theme song. But for the first couple of seasons, they would only show clips of Drake and Josh throughout the entire theme song. So it could literally show a different cast member's name on the screen, but you'll still only see either Drake or Josh. Overall, I thought this was a quality show and it still holds up after all of these years. I went back and I rewatched several old shows this past week. Drake and Josh was one of them, Zoe 101 was another one of them. And I can tell you, in my opinion, I think Drake and Josh holds up a lot better than Zoe 101. Also, I stand by my statement that Drake and Josh was like Nickelodeon's That's So Raven. Both shows had tons of physical comedy, although That's So Raven had a lot more disguises and falling down. No, wait, it's actually about the same. Also, both shows were similar in terms of ratings and legacy because when people say what's the best Nickelodeon show, they always say Drake and Josh. And when people say what's the best Disney show, they always say That's So Raven. Anyways, that's it for my video. Please don't forget to show your appreciation by leaving a like, subscribing, and commenting down below. And please don't forget to follow me on all of my socials. The link to my Twitter and Instagram is in the description down below. Anyways, thank you so much for watching.